I don't care.
Ukrainian rock band Homeless Radio returns with their electrifying new single, Sleep Not. Formed in 2016, Homeless Radio blends indie, garage rock, skate punk, and post grunge with some pop influence. The band, which includes Andrii Yampolksi, Fadir Orlov, Stepan Kachuk, Ihor Pankiv, and Ivan Orlov, made their mark in Kharkiv from 2017 to 2019, despite adversity during the Russian invasion in 2022, including Andrei's harrowing nearly 6-month stay in the occupied town of Izium. Their resilience shone through with the single About You, released to support his escape. Ending their hiatus, Homeless Radio returned with Submarine, a high-energy tribute to Richard Ayoade's film and Joe Dunthorpe's novel, released at the beginning of 2024. The band has confirmed more singles to be released in due time. We're sitting down now with Andrii. How are you today, my friend?
Hello, Kyle. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So before we get started, I wanna ask you about some of your band's influences, Homeless Radio's influences, and how Homeless Radio came to be.
So, the story is like classic, simple. We were just the guys who wanted to try to create a rock band and compile our influences, our childhood music heroes, and create something new. So actually, we were listening a lot of indie rock that was popular back in the day, in this very time. The Strokes, Arctic Monkeys, the Lions, White Stripes, maybe some more heavy stuff, maybe some more poppy stuff, and then we just started to write our own music.
I like that. So I noticed Fadir and Ivan, they have the same last name. Are they brothers or related?
Not really, but maybe we don't know something about them yet. I don't know about the two, unfortunately.
Okay. I do know that music can be a powerful tool for healing as well as resistance. Has creating or performing music become a source of strength for you? And are there any particular songs or rhythms that help you through difficult times?
Absolutely, I agree with the statement. It really helps. And actually, after the big war began, songwriting is probably one of a few things that has remained with me from my past peaceful life. So, like, it's the same as it was before, and I really appreciate that I still have this opportunity to create new music with my friends, with the guys. And talking about any particular songs and stuff, uh, I started to understand more eclectic music compared like it was back in the day. So I don't know. I think one's mind has changed, and like it was that I feel to like explore new borders in the music too.
What kind of borders? Can you elaborate more?
The first example that came to my mind was two last albums of Arctic Monkeys. They has changed their sound pretty dramatically and pretty like actually absolutely different music to what they did before. And before the war, I just didn't understand. I would like to say I want rock and roll. What is this? It's not rock anymore. But after this experience with the war and stuff, I like listened to it and I thought like, man, it's really deep. I really like it. It's really like uh, I think in a different way, and I like that.
Do you have a personal favorite track from Homeless Radio or one that means more to you than others?
At this moment, probably my favorite one is Submarine. I like how it represents its initial idea. And an interesting fact. Thanks for this question because it's really more comprehensive than it seems. Because all of our songs on Spotify actually they were written about 10, 15 years ago. when we
Really?
were just we were teenagers and we had no
Yeah.
money, no skill to like record it in a proper way. So yeah, like even right now I feel the songs in different way, and like I found new meanings in them. It's pretty interesting in my opinion.
So would you say that music or different tracks can change their meaning to you over time?
Absolutely, and I like it. When I initially was writing lyrics, I was thinking to make them in such a way, not too, subjective. So like when a listener hears the song, they can like make their own impressions. I mean, I would not write about like here we are in Ukraine having fun in this city in this time or stuff like this. I was trying to be as like a narrator from unknown book, unknown series, unknown time. So yeah, and it works even for me. I'm listening to my songs and I think, whoa, how could I predict the future? It's like exactly what would be in the future and stuff like this. So yeah, it's interesting. It's pretty interesting. Such an approach, I like it. I like it even like today, although it was written 10 years ago.
So how much music do you have like, sitting in the bank or stuff that's been unreleased that we won't see for 10 years? How does that work?
Already there are a lot of songs, but um, I think many of them won't see real world and will stay as demos because we really has grown up a lot during this time, and currently it's like a little spoiler, a little hint that we are seeking for something completely new. And
Oh,
I hope it will be exciting. And actually, it's directly related to like these borders that I mentioned, that they became wider and like more different influences. We have more different influences, not just rock and roll, indie, grunge, something, something very unpredictable.
I'm excited for that. I can't wait. So please let me know when that's about to drop. Speaking of different borders, I know we talked about it a little bit, but skate punk. You do you skate or
It's kind of funny because I bought first skates only this year. And
really?
I bought it after people started to call homeless radio skate punk. Actually, I have never heard about this like genre before beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah, me either. Well, hey, if the shoe fits, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
but I like skating. I like skating. It's cool.
it is a fun pastime. I will get on from time to time, but I need to always remember my helmet because I am not that good. So
Me either. So I understand you.
I need a longboard more than I need a skateboard. I feel like that's a little bit more easier to manage, I guess, without falling.
Probably
Yeah,
bigger board, bigger wheels. So
yeah.
yeah.
Anything with a seatbelt is probably what I really need, considering my balance.
It sounds like a title of a song, A Skate with the Seat Bell.
Hey, by all means, use it.
I will think about it.
Hopping back on and talking about resilience, I found that many musicians find that their art becomes a voice of resilience, especially during difficult times. Has your music taken on new significance or meaning um, since I guess from previous publications, previous productions?
Absolutely, absolutely. Probably these last songs about you, Submarine and Slipknot, it's not connected with them as I said, they were written long time ago. But something on which we are working right now, of course, it was affected. But I don't really currently I don't really want to be that specific and focus all like my lyrics on this subject. Actually, when I was still in the worst zone, I was thinking like, oh, I will probably write an album about this, like 10 songs or even more. But when I escaped, I realized that people, they don't really understand this means, the terms, and for the majority, it's like something unbelievable, like a plot of movie or video game. So I'd like to express these feelings, these truths, these facts in a more subtle but readable way, more easy way. And I am thinking about this a lot. You know, this experience and how it reflected on my art reminds me one of Jim Morrison's story. When Jim Morrison, he said that when he was a kid, when he was a child, he and his parents were traveling somewhere and they met a truck. And truck, I don't remember what it was, an accident or something, car accident, and this truck was full of dead bodies. And Jim Morrison, as a child, when he saw it, he said that he had so like strong feelings, like he imagined that spirits of these dead bodies just like entered his mind. And for all his life, all his songs, all his art had something, uh, some maybe how to say it properly. Um, mm, some references to this section, and I think like this war and my experience, it would work the same. Like maybe I would write for about something different, but this vibe will stay forever.
Jim Morrison, he played for the Doors, yes, or he was with the
Yeah,
Doors,
yeah,
if I'm not
doors.
mistaken. Okay, gonna have to. Yeah, he's on that playlist that we had put together. So from Texas to Ezium, it's roughly 10,000 kilometers or 6,200 miles apart, and you and I are able to communicate as if we are in the same room as one another. Do you mind explaining to me a little bit about how it felt and what was occurring when you were in the same town as occupying Russian forces for nearly 6 months?
Yeah, sure, sure. First of all, I'd like to say that I'm glad to be here with you to have such a nice conversation, and I really appreciate that you care and you want to share these my words, because as I can see, for as long that it happens, more and more people just getting tired of this subject. They are not that interested like it was at the beginning. I totally understand it. It's not something like not something weird. It's just human psychology. But many people unfortunately miss the fact that currently the amount of Russian attack is the biggest since the start, the biggest. So maybe after almost these 3 years, it's not getting like ended. Maybe it's getting started only. So I really appreciate the interest, because it's really something that should be spread and should be noticed. So talking about my experience in these 6 months, it was that surreal that I can't. Sometimes when I'm thinking about it, it's for me it's like a bad dream or something. Speaking practically, it reminded me something like a movie, or I don't know, video game, maybe a book about some zombie apocalypse or stuff like that. Because like the place where I had been living for years, it was alive, a lot of, I don't know, shops, people and stuff, and just within 1 week it became ruins. People were just somebody were running away, somebody were dying, somebody were trading, like, and going to help other side. So yeah, it was terrible, but not as terrible as like you're in these conditions and you think like everything's over. No, you just taking it like it's everyday experience. Something bad happens, but okay, I need to adapt. I need to moving on. I need to keep sense of humor. I need to like keep on motivated and stuff like that. So yeah, at that time I really had not that many bad thoughts in my head. I was hoping for the best. I was hoping for our army to save us and stuff like that. Even to provide some context, so the town was destroyed. It was occupied very quickly. There were a lot of Russian soldiers around the town. I don't know if it's a known fact for you or no, but especially in this part of Ukraine, people know both Russian and Ukrainian languages fluently. So when these soldiers came, we totally understand them and what they're talking about. So it was not like aliens. We understood like what they want to do, what they would like to do, and stuff like that. And so it was like a town destroyed, a lot of dead bodies, and a lot of these soldiers, they were like, some policemen who went insane and they are now against civilians. So stuff like that. And it was very weird that you must have provide them documents to say them, hello, we are not soldiers, we are just civilians and stuff like that. But actually, it's not even like somebody from our country. So why should we do this? In these terms, it was pretty ridiculous. But what I'd like to say that the majority of people were still hoping for the best. The majority of people didn't welcome these occupants, and when something bad happened with them, we were actually happy.
If you'd like to leave a few words of encouragement for Andrii, Homeless Radio, and those affected, please leave them a comment down below. Additional links to connect with them are included in the description. As someone that's been directly affected by the Russo-Ukrainian conflict, how do you balance personal expression as well as political themes in your music now?
That's an interesting question. I think I partly answered it before that. I am planning to spread the truth, my experience, my emotions from this time, but simultaneously I don't want to make it in the very direct way because for many it can be validated like something offensive or something like not safe for mental health and stuff like that. So I like it to be very very open, very readable, very listenable, but still like some between the lines. Of course, I will spread the message about how bad it was and how tragic to be involved in something like this right now in 21st century.
About you having to relocate. I'm sure that being away from home often reshapes someone's sense of identity. Has that displacement changed how you view or connect with your roots, and how do you find that coming through in your music right now?
For whole my life, I had been very like I don't know how to say it correctly. Homesick probably. I always like enjoyed to be home in my hometown, even when I was studying in the university in different, much bigger city, and when we were playing music with the guys, like touring, recording. I always missed my home, but now I feel it in different way because due to my presence in the occupation, when I saw how the town became really corrupted, really destroyed, I just understand that at least for now it wouldn't be the same. And like, of course I miss it, but it's not the same anymore. It's like different location, absolutely different location, and it's really wild still. It's not occupied right now. It's more or less safe, but it's just different place with different environment, unfortunately.
I see that eyes are incorporated as elements of your artwork. Can you explain more about that?
I don't even remember how this idea came, but we decided to keep on like pushing it from time to time, from release to release. Yeah, I don't really remember how first it came from the EP, The Truth, this like sign. But I remember that I wanted before the war, I wanted to create another EP that would called The Lie, and it would have an inverted this art, but inverted, still with eyes, but like real ones without hands.
I like that. Um, how have audiences responded to your music so far, especially those who may not fully understand the context of your experiences?
So it has changed a little bit. No, not a little bit. It has significantly changed as it was back in the day because I remember in the past when I was like sharing my music with somebody, for example, on Reddit, and I was mentioning like, "Hello, we are like garage rock band from Ukraine." Many people just even didn't know where is it. They were saying like, "Are you guys from Europe, or from like Asia?" But right now, unfortunately, because of these circumstances, everybody knows where Ukraine is located. And yeah, we have more support just because of our like location. Because for many it's surprising that the band still exists in such conditions, and I really appreciate it. It feels great that people support and they like have interest now because not only because it's like good music or like enticing music, but before because of location too. What else? Our song "I Don't Care" was really pushed to some massive playlists because people wanted to support like Ukrainian artists, and we gained pretty big numbers. I remember it's not a promotion, but it was a playlist from New Artist Spotlight
Really?
guys. Yeah, 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 from these guys, and they gained a lot of streams for us, and it was really great because like I was in occupation without electricity, internet, and stuff, and I had no, of course, I had no possibility to promote music, and these guys they just helped like voluntarily without free, without even my without asking me. So yeah,
I,
it felt great.
I Don't Care is honestly has some of the better lyrics from y'all's music, and it has a wonderful takeaway and a great message. So um, I'm a big
Thanks.
fan of that track.
Thanks a lot. Glad to hear.
Hmm.
Also, to this question, I wanted to add that some very minor, it's a very few, but I received some bad messages, negative messages, and negative feedback about my art because my nationality too. Unfortunately, it was really a few, but even recently on Reddit, somebody wrote me like, "Hey man, I don't care about Ukraine. Don't try to promote yourself because of war, and actually like you guys don't need to fight, you are not right," and stuff like that. And I was hey dude, I just shared you music. I didn't ask you about political questions. Like if you would like to listen, if you would like not to listen, don't listen. I'm okay with it. But yeah, some people just weird.
Yeah, I'm sure that's, sometimes, especially when you're expressing yourself, that message can be misconstrued, or somebody can take that into a different message. And so um, I'm sure, as from an artist like yourself, that's not really your main concern, but you're just trying, like you
Yeah.
said, to get your art out there. Do you feel so? Talking about these messages, do you feel like your work has helped to raise awareness about what's happening in Ukraine?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. Maybe a little bit. Of course, there were artists who gained more success in this certain field. Like, I don't know if you remember, but at the year when the full invasion started, Ukrainian band won Eurovision, and it like gained a lot of attention, and it was song actually about the war. And I think it repeated like all the following 2 years or 1 year. I don't remember. I don't remember for sure, but yeah, I remember that it was also some songs in Eurovision about war, and they didn't win, but they gained a lot of like they will spread a lot. So yeah, of course, art helps to spread this message and make people not to forget what's going on.
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, our world is in fitness and sports, and so we've noticed that fans typically form a support system for athletes. Do you find that your audience has become a source of encouragement or solidarity for you and Homeless Radio?
Absolutely, support and appreciation. It really feels great. It motivates to do something, and it like uh, rekindles my belief, my trust in this world. It like when I see support, when I see that somebody say like, "Hey, dude, so you made a great music," it like it warms my heart a lot. Um, yeah. Uh, what else I wanted to it? I forgot. Sorry.
That's okay. Talking about fans, I've noticed that your listeners are kind of all over the world. Where has some traction gained that you thought that you would never see people enjoy your music?
Uh, it's kind of interesting question because from the start we actually expected that our music would be more spread in some English-speaking countries than in our even homeland because this kind of genre like punk, like this very energetic rock, is not really that popular in Ukraine. So we were ready that people would in like in the USA, in the UK, Australia, Canada listen to it. So it was not surprise when like we saw some numbers from these countries. And yeah, but surprisingly, we have really a few listeners from Ukraine.
In the fitness world, people typically push through physical challenges for mental resilience. Has the act of creating or performing music given you similar strength, almost like a training ground for facing other challenges?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's very good comparison, really, because like actually it feels almost absolutely the same. Like when you achieve some goals in sports, for example, like I remember I had very similar emotions when I ran the 10 kilometers within 1 hour and when I finished the song. But I'd like to emphasize that it feels really. Empty when you did something wrong in the release of the song and it hasn't been heard. Like if, for example, the promotion was targeted to not inappropriate people and they were not interested in it, and at this moment, like you think, oh man, it was a good song, but people just hadn't heard it, and now like the momentum has gone.
Yeah.
And I'd like to add that another great source of the energy was performing live shows. It's like I don't know. I can't compare it with anything. It's just pure emotions, pure like happiness. But unfortunately, we can't make live performances now as we are separated. And one of our members, Ihar, he's in the army, so we have no chance, unfortunately, to just get back together and perform. But I hope that when we have a chance, we would return to live shows to
Well,
play.
please give Ihor our well wishes whenever you can, if you can. Um,
Thanks. Yeah, we are always in contact with him. He will be very happy to hear back from you.
and he's one of the guitarists. Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of guitars, what is the secret to bar chords?
You need to have really powerful fingers.
Uh, do you recommend any exercises? Because my bar chord game is pretty weak.
I think if you're in fitness, it wouldn't be a problem for you to like get prepared for 1 week.
Well, I'll keep practicing. I've yet to perfect my bar chords.
Don't forget that you can use actually two fingers, so you can not just one but two, and they would be more powerful.
I've seen your skills on the guitar, and when you do a bar chord, I can't figure it out. I try, but I can't.
Thanks, thanks. Glad to hear. Glad to hear it.
Want to hear some more bar chords from Andrii at Homeless Radio? Check out our latest collaborative playlist, Static, the untamed energy of music that refuses to be ignored. I do have one final question for you. If you had a message for anyone out there, a takeaway from your experiences, what would you say, or what would you like to say?
Hmm. I need a minute to think about it.
That's okay.
Probably, my message would be somewhat complex, and it definitely not something that I would be thinking about back in the day before the war. But now I understand that it's important to uh, know your values of life, and to understand that all humans, all human beings in the world, they're not alone. And we live not in the perfect world. We live in very cruel world, but we have power to make it more kind, more hopeful. So, like, when you're doing something, when you're thinking something, and you're creating something, you should not forget that we don't live in a bubble, and there are a lot of corrupted people, actually millions, who would like to spoil everything. So final words of the statement is we need to keep on doing kind things, and remember that there always would be an aggressor, and this aggressor must be punished, because if not, this aggressor would corrupt us.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I hope some folks over here in the States will take that to heart, considering our current circumstances. To that note, there is a quote that I hope you can take something away from. It's by Helen Keller. She said that although the world is full of suffering, it's also full of overcoming of it. She says that her optimism then does not rest on the absence of evil, but on a glad belief in the preponderance of good and a willing effort always to cooperate with the good and that it may prevail. So
Great quote.
it is. I didn't come up with it, but it is. It's always stuck with me. Andrii, I want to say thank you so much for your time. All the well wishes from over here. I hope that people take away something from this. And last but not least, Slava Ukraini.
Thanks a lot, Heroям Slava. I really appreciate your input. It was a great interview, and you did a very great job to come up with all these questions. It was just great, and really, I appreciate it. This,
On a happier note, you wanna play a riff or something?
Tell me, please, do you hear the guitar well?
I can hear it. I like acoustic.
Great. So about I don't care.
Thank you. Yeah.
You gave me an idea to make live performances like this in
Come
these
on with
circumstances.
it. Yeah, you should.
Okay, cool.
Have a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks a lot, and have a good day.
We hope you enjoyed this conversation with Andrii and Homeless Radio. You can find them in the show notes, give them some love in the comments, or just enjoy some of their music on your favorite streaming service. FYI, we have an exciting update that's gone live, version 3.0.2. If you're looking to expand your health and wellness horizons, or just curious, you should download right now. With a 5-star rating, we've got to be doing something right. Thanks for listening, much love, and goodbye.